Hello, Year 6. This is Wednesday's English. I hope you got on okay yesterday with analysing the speech that Greta Thunberg made at the UN Climate Change Conference. So today we're going to start to think about writing our own speech and what the speech will be about. So let me just share a flip chart with you. Okay, so we need to think about what issues we're going to write about, and then I'm going to show you a way of planning our way through the speech. Now, you made, most of you, pretty much all of you, I think, some really good research. You'd done some very good research on environmental issues when you were writing your persuasive letter. So some of you have already got some information about things like plastic pollution. So if you wanted to use that research, and if you felt strongly about the letter you wrote, then please just write your speech about that, because you'll already have a lot of the research done. However, we did find in the years that we've been doing this that some children have got really strong views already about something that they feel strongly about. Obviously, we're in a global pandemic. So this year is really, really different. So it might be that there's something linked to that, linked to the virus that you might want to write your speech about. It might be, we've just come out of the European Union. I'm not sure how much of that you've been following or you understand, but if you did want to write about that, absolutely fine. Last year, a couple of children wrote about racism in football, and I know that that's something that's come up again very, very recently in the news. Marcus Rashford was talking about it yesterday. So if you wanted to choose another issue that's not linked to what you did for your letter, that's absolutely fine. But it's easier to use the research that you've already got on your letter if you're going to find this a struggle. Okay, so it's entirely up to you what you do your speech about. If you need any help, please email me, and I'm happy to do a Zoom with you if you're really stuck, or just send you some advice and some tips by email. But this is what we're going to do. Let's have a look at the next slide. Okay, so there is a planning sheet which will be on Google Classroom. It is on Google Classroom ready for you. You can either print it off, or you can just use this structure for planning your speech. So the main thing you need to be doing when you're planning your speech is make 3 main points. If you make lots and lots of different points, it gets really muddled. So think about 3 main things you want to say. So for example, I've got one that was done last year, and the person that wrote it chose racism in football as her topic. So that was what she wrote here, racism in football. The first point she made here was that football players have been racially abused by fans. And then for her evidence and explain, she'd got a Chelsea supporter was arrested for racial abuse. And then she'd got how much racist incidents in football had grown in the last year. She got a percentage there. And then here she'd put last season more than 150 cases of racial abuse were reported by the police. Okay, and then we get the second point, which was the effects that all of this has on children, because obviously footballers are role models for children, and when football fans are abusing them racially online and on the pitch, that was quite a, there were children at those football matches. So she'd put 3 points about that, about children, about the effects it had on children. And then her final point was that this might lead to racist incidents in school if children have been affected by that. Okay, so your topic, your theme is over here. If it's plastic pollution, you could make a point about the oceans. You could make a point about supermarkets and packaging, and then you could make a point about how a lot of the recycled plastic isn't actually being recycled. It's just ending up in someone else's country, piled up. And then this is where you get your evidence and explain for each of those points. Okay, so your task today is to think of 3 main points in your argument, bearing in mind all the time this A4 is to remember: alliteration, facts, opinion, rhetorical question, emotive language, statistics, rule of 3. You might, if you think of any of those things that you want to just jot down in those boxes, that will help you write your speech. Absolutely fantastic. So today you are going to use this planning sheet to think about what issue you're going to write about and then plan it on there. Okay, so have fun with that, and I will see you tomorrow.